Thanks for tuning in to Debt Free in IT. I'm your host, Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's looking to get into the IT field, or whether you're looking to make a career change or just trying to advance your career. So please like, subscribe, comment, click the like bell, whatever you got to do to make sure you get aware of every episode. So in this episode, I'm going to go over some steps I took to get my CCNA certification. One thing is, since some of you may be listening in an audio version of the podcast, some of you may be looking on YouTube. So pretty much I'm recording both at the same time. So if you would like me to go in detail and show you some of the things that I'm going to go over today, please leave it in the comment and I'll make another video that would just go on YouTube displaying everything that I'm about to say. So like I said, we're going to go over some things I use to get my CCNA certification. So let's get it. So CCNA certification, I consider it probably a intermediate level certification, mainly focused on networking, route switch. Now with the new CCNA may have a little bit of programmability, which is mainly probably in the CCNP level. I think it touched on it a little bit with the CCNA. But so a little bit about me, if you haven't listened to any previous episodes, I have obtained my CCNA certification twice. So I obtained it once back in 2008. Then I obtained it about almost 3 years ago now. So I obtained it again. So, and the second time I obtained it is when I had more of a plan. So that's what I'm going to reference today. That's the plan that I'm going to go over is pretty much the plan I use for any certification now. And also, it's probably very similar to anyone else you've asked about obtaining a certification in the IT field. A lot of people use the same thing. So here's just some things that I go over. So for my CCNA exam, so when I got it 2 or 3 years ago, it wasn't the newest version, but these things that I'm going to go over is still pretty much good for, the old version and the new version. So with me, I'm a firm believer in having about 3 to 4 things as resources for studying for a certification. The first thing is the exam topics. So you can go on the web, you go to Google and type in Cisco CCNA exam topics. Then in the search results, it'll come up probably Cisco's site. You click on that site, it gives you the exam topics for that certification. So if you're looking for a CCNA, it gives you the exam topics for that cert. So these exam topics is pretty much what you may have questions on or what you may encounter when you take the certification. So the exam topics, it also have the weights of how much each topic or each category in the exam topics, how much they weigh, or how much they're graded, how the heavier the weights and everything on it. So you have that to go by. So what I do, I get these topics, then I usually print them out in PDF, put them in a notebook, or keep them on my computer. And then with these topics, I use that as my path of studying, or that's what I'm looking at to study, just those topics. So I'm not studying everything in the CCNA, or just studying whatever those topics have in it. Those technologies are the ones I'm studying. Then also with the topics, you'll notice some of the topics will start with the word configure, or know how to configure, or configuring of some sort of nature. So pretty much for the topics that has configure or configuring or know how to configure, pretty much those are the topics I try to do labs with the actual equipment, or either via simulator like Packet Tracer or some other form of labbing up that particular topic. So that brings me to another thing that I use. So I use labs. I like to have some sort of way to lab up those topics, whether it's Packet Tracer, which I think is completely free. So it's either going to be Packet Tracer or Bosun's a good one. Some I have used Bosun. I like them a lot. So I have their Net Simulator package. So with the labs, pretty much like I said, for any topic in the exams that says configure, I'm gonna try to find labs on those topics. just to make sure I know how to configure it and I know it inside and out in case that may be something I see on the exam. So, like I said, you print the exam topics, you need some kind of way to do labs. The next thing is a certification book. So you have certification guides. Like you might have Cisco usually have an OCG book, original cert guide book that kind of is going to go off those topics that we just printed out. So you have each topic. You can find that in the book, read about it, and go on through all those topics. So the books I usually recommend when I took mine, I used Todd Lamley's book. I like his book for CCNA. He also has one for the current CCNA. I like his book. So I say either Todd Lamley or the Cisco OCG book for that particular certification. The OCG book, like I said, original cert guide. I think those are two good resources as far as reading material. There's plenty other things out there. I know you have 101 labs. You have the cram exams. You have a lot of stuff that's you can use as a resource. So I try not to get too deep into looking at everything because I find that usually if I'm looking at everything, then I never make any leeway on trying to study anything because I'm going back and forth with different resources. So, like I said, I usually get one of those two books, either Todd Lamley's or the Cisco OCG book, and I would try to put a link to it. It may be an Amazon link, affiliate link, just to let you know. But if you happen to click my link, it does support the channel a little bit, help me to grow, help me to continue making these podcasts. So, like I said, we went over three things: the exam topics, some kind of form of labbing up whatever topic you have, whether that's packet tracer, which is completely good for studying for your CCNA. So packet tracer, or you may go out and buy one from somewhere else, or you may actually have actual equipment. So you just need some kind of way to lab up those topics. Then the third one we went over was the book for the certification book. That way you can read the read on the topic, then go back and do the labs on it. Uh, the next one is gonna be a videos. So the next one is videos. So I like to have some kind of Cisco videos. There's plenty out there. Also, you have CBT Nuggets makes good videos. You can find some on YouTube for free. Makes some good videos. I think Jeremy's IT Lab. He has some pretty good videos. So there's plenty of them out there. The main thing is everyone's all the videos are good. It's just finding the right person for you. Finding one that breaks it down so that you understand it. I may like CBT nuggets, but you may get to it be like, I don't understand it. So finding that right person. So and there's plenty to choose from on YouTube. So like I said, videos covering the CCNA topics. That way, I'm able to create me a game plan where, okay, I can say, okay, I'm gonna look at the first category of this CCNA. I'm gonna try to read through it. Then after that, I'm gonna go and watch the videos for those topics. Then after that, I'm gonna go and try to do labs on anything that says configure from any of those topics that I just read. So now I have a path that I'm going to. And then usually, if you saw my previous video or my other video that shows about using the Pomodoro timer, so like I said, I would use that to kind of time because usually I just try to devote at least an hour a day. That hour may be reading one day, watching videos one day, labbing it up one day, or it may just be taking notes because most of the time I'm an old school cat. So I like the physical book so I can go through and highlight it. Sometimes just for, uh, especially if I got time after I highlight it, I go back and type what I highlighted in my notes. So especially if I have time, if it's something I don't have that much time for, I may not go back and type everything, but I would still highlight it just so I can reference it if I need to again. So like I said, we got the exam topics, we got the certification book, we got the labs, uh, and we got videos. So once I figure out my process, like I said, going through the exam topics, um, once I some exam topics I may be able to skip just because I feel that I know it pretty good. So anything like that, I may be able to skip. Or sometimes I'll just go back and review it anyway just to make sure I'm on top of my game. So once I get through that process, and I've been doing that, and I'm almost through with all the exam topics, and I feel pretty confident. The next one is key is I'm gonna go and find me a exam prep. So you have plenty of exam preps. Don't get it confused with a exam dump. Please do not use an exam dump. It is against the if I'm in IT world, it's against the law in the IT world. Like I said, if it's found out you're using an exam dump, then you could be barred from getting that certification or barred from taking any certification from that vendor. So, like I said, I won't get the. I find one that's usually a reputable company. I think Measure Up may be a good one. Bosun, I know they're pretty good in that market also. So I get some kind of exam prep, and then the last 2 weeks before my exam, I'll start just doing the exam prep to get familiar with the questions. Usually, the exam preps is gonna be like a test simulator. You're going to go through the actual test. You treat it like you're taking a real test, and you're able to go through. Then at the end, it's going to tell you what you missed. That way, you see what you need to work on, what you need to get stronger at. So, like I said, I'll start using that about the last 2 weeks before it's time to take my exam. So, like I said, that's the resources I use. Pretty much, I tackle every certification the same way. Um, a book, videos, the topic, the exam prep, and some kind of labbing, some kind of way to lab it up. So I do all of that. And then one thing too is that, we always say that we're going to take this certification, we're going to do this, and we never schedule it. So we end up never taking it. So another thing you could do is to pay for your certification in advance. So that means that go ahead and schedule. Let's say if I'm starting today, I say, okay, in 4 months, I want to take my CCNA certification. I'm going to go online, schedule that day, and then I'm going to go ahead and pay for it. What that's going to do is now you got skin in the game, you got money on the line. That's going to create that sense of urgency. That's going to make you go and study because in your mind, you're going to say, oh, I don't want to lose this $300 or $100 or whatever it costs. You say, I don't want to lose this $300. So I want to make sure I'm well prepared to where this $200 or $300 is going to be worth it. And hopefully this $200 or $300 passing this certification is going to help me to make more money or to help me to get in the IT field or help me to switch up careers. So like I said, pay for the certification in advance. That's going to put that sense of urgency in you. That's going to motivate you to study because now you got skin in the game. You got money on the line. So, like I said, those are just some of the things I like to do when approaching a certification. So, like I said, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please like, subscribe, leave me a comment, leave me a review. Let me know how I'm doing. If you're listening on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what certification you're studying for, or let me know how you go about studying for certifications. And like I said, I'll be listening to see, listening, and also I will be looking at the comments to see what you're studying for, and hopefully we can encourage each other. Other than that, what I'm saying, you can find me on all social media, Debt Free in IT. Pretty much it's Debt Free in IT on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So, like I said, if you have any questions or comments, or if any kind of questions, any kind of topics you want me to cover, I do the best of my ability to try to, cover those topics for me. I like to keep it real per se. I like to be honest with everything. So, hopefully, you're pulling something out of this. It's motivating